am just here to do a quick wrap up of the last couple of books I've read. They don't really need their own videos. I'm just catching up with some series that I'm still reading. I don't read a lot of series, or I don't complete a lot of series, because at some point around book 4 or 5, I typically just kind of run out of steam. But these are series that I am still reading, and I've read the most recent volumes of each, so I'm kind of caught up on them, and I thought I'd talk about it. The first one is I finally read The Last Devil to Die, which is the most recent Thursday Murder Club book. I had just a couple books ago read the one before that. Right now there are only the 4, and so far I am still really loving and enjoying this series, so I anticipate reading the next one, which last I heard is going to be out next year. If you haven't read the series, some of what I'm going to say won't make a lot of sense. You can always just skip to Black Butler, which is next. But I just really, really enjoy the characters, the writing in these books. I gave the first, third, and fourth books 5 stars. The second book was a little bit of a slump for me. Only 4 stars, gee. It just, for whatever reason, didn't resonate with me the way the others did. This book in particular, The Last Devil to Die, spoilers if you haven't read it, but there is a character in these books. Her name is Elizabeth, and her husband Stephen has increasing cognitive impairment, dementia, potentially Alzheimer's. I don't think they ever actually call out precisely the diagnosis, but there are slight differences between these things, and it felt so well drawn and lovingly drawn, as over the 4 books you kind of see Stephen declining. My father is in the very early stages of this, so I think it had a lot of impact for me. And so that was that's been a hard one. I think this book also had maybe the largest number of murders of any of them. It's not like I've gone and tallied each book. This one had a lot. It had, just a lot of deaths. I think what I really also enjoy about this series is that even the bad guys are written in a way that makes them at least a little likable or understandable. You're not rooting for them necessarily, but at the same time, you just don't. There's maybe 1 or 2 that you do really hate, but it always seems like all of the characters are generally pretty well-rounded. I guess I will say the bad guys all seem of a type, but that makes sense because they're all kind of bad in the same way. Most of them are drug dealers, but there are occasional other things. There's some art forgery going on in this most recent book, so that is, another kind of misdeed. But yeah, I don't know. I find these books fun. They're quick reads because I never hesitate to pick the book up and sit down and read it. It's something I look forward to reading when I'm reading one, which, is, I think, better than a book that you look at and you go, oh yeah, I guess I could keep reading this. Whereas books that you don't want to pick up at all, right? Like, there's a spectrum. But in any case, yeah, I gave The Last Devil to Die 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. And we'll see where we go from here. Then I read the most recent volume of Black Butler, or Kuro Shitsuji, which is volume 33. This is a long-running manga series where now I think we're lucky to get 1 volume a year, which is making it harder to keep up with the story because obviously I read a lot of things between these volumes, and I'm also not inclined to go back and reread recent volumes of Black Butler. I'm just not, it's going very slow, and I'm not as invested or enjoying it as much. We're not seeing Sebastian and, we'll call him CL. If you know the story, maybe he's not really CL, he's a different. But anyway, it's gotten convoluted, and it's been a lot of side quests, side stories with secondary characters for the past however many volumes. And since the volumes also don't come out except maybe one a year, it's just very, I don't know. I want to know what happens, but I don't know if I want to know badly enough to keep reading it at this pace. It's one of those things where you get to a point where you're like, maybe I'll just go read a Wikipedia, the fandom summary or whatever. At the same time, I have all of them on my shelf, so I don't want to quit having, I don't know, I guess I could just sell a lot of them or keep the first few that I really enjoyed, and then somewhere where this storyline began, sell off the rest. I don't know. But if you've read Black Butler, let me know your thoughts about the series. I watched the anime first during the pandemic, and then got interested enough to pick up the manga. The manga, I think one of the reasons it's slow going is that they wait until a certain number of stories are done before compiling, because I think Black Butler is in a monthly Japanese magazine that's serialized, and they have to collect a certain number and then they have to translate it, obviously, and that kind of thing. So I don't know, I guess I could go look and see if I can find the Japanese ones, but again, I have all of the English ones on my bookshelf, and there's like some reluctance after you've come this far with something. So I don't know, we'll see. Maybe there'll be some omnibuy at some point, and I can swap the individual volumes for something that takes up less space. But anyway, I gave it 3 stars, volume 33. It was fine. I just want to get on to the next thing. You know what I mean? I'm to the point in this storyline where I'm like, can we just move it along? Can we, get this taken care of and do something else now? Which is never a good place to be in a series. So yeah, and now I am reading Red Side Story, which is the sequel to Shades of Grey by Jasper Fforde. If you've seen my video about Shades of Grey, you know that it is probably one of my favorite books, and I do, again, just really enjoy Jasper Fforde because he trusts his readers to figure it out as they go along. He's not going to spoon feed you. Some people don't like that. Some people are like, I'm just too confused. I don't understand. I need more explanation. I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like being treated like I have a brain, and that the author trusts me. And for me, he gives me enough context clues that I'm able to follow along. I understand what's happening more or less, and then it becomes gradually clearer. But yeah, I've only just started that one, and it is a chonker. It is, I think, 400 and something pages, not quite 500, maybe like 450-ish. So, although I appreciate that the typeface, the print is relatively large, so I don't think it's actually a long book necessarily. The typeface in my copy, at the least, it's not large print. I'm not there yet, but it is, a good size for reading. Of course, it just makes the book like really chunky. It's not a book I want to carry around. I wouldn't take it to the beach or something. It's a little bit heavy for that. I'd need to find something else, but I don't really go to the beach, so we got a pool. We're fine. But yeah, anyway, if you've read Thursday Murder Club, Black Butler, if you're a Jasper Fforde fan, or if you've read, well, don't give me any spoilers for Red Side Story if you're ahead of me there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, and until next time, take care.